A very good afternoon to you, our viewers. This is the Midday News. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. The top stories: Bishop Billy MFULA urges the church to offer counseling to those charged with corruption. The Operation Young Vote bemoans disrespecting the presidency by those charged with corruption.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
There's so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
The Midday News in detail. The Operation Young Vote has expressed disappointment at the demeaning language being directed at President Hakainde Hichilema by some former government officials being investigated for purported corrupt charges. OIV Executive Director Ges Nyarenda says those who feel aggrieved by the actions of the investigative bodies should not vent their anger on the president, but on the law enforcers, which mandates the law enforcers to carry out investigations when they notice dubious transactions. Mr. Nyarenda says it is quite saddening to see people go on social media or even call for a press briefing just to demean the presidency. He says hate speech and derogatory language will not only injure the targeted person but corrupt the morals of young people.
We are so worried that the language that they are using, especially on the head of state, is so demeaning and inappropriate. It is unacceptable. When people are arrested, I mean, let the law enforcers, let the institutions that have the mandate to do what they are doing, do their job, and you must vent your anger on the law and not on the head of state. The head of state has nothing to do with the people's corruption, whether it is now or in the past. The head of state has nothing to do with people's committing crimes. And I think we must respect the head of state. It is embarrassing that in this country we can wake up any time and because you are facing some charges or because you are arrested by the police and now you are addressing the media on your bond or whatever, then you say whatever you think you can say. I think that is unacceptable. Let us mind our language, let us mind our utterances, let us mind that when we bring out these issues, especially hate speech and derogatory language, I mean, we are injuring ourselves as a people and others will be laughing at us. I mean, the children who are coming after us, they think it's normal to say anything to the head of state. While we appreciate, yes.
Bishop Billy MFULA says the church should step in and offer moral guidance even as the country journeys on its fight against corruption, with Zambia being a Christian nation. In an interview, Bishop MFULA says the church should be involved through offering moral counseling to perpetrators while allowing the law to take its course. He has also emphasized on the need for those mandated to fight the vice to ensure they do so without malice.
Actually encourage the church, the clergy. We are partners to the fight of corruption because we are key in removing the corruption in the hearts of men. Corruption is a heart issue. Yes, the corruption is a hard issue. It's beyond what police can do. We appreciate their efforts. It's beyond what man can get to try to do, and we appreciate the efforts that government would get to put in. But then it's important to know that it's a hard issue. It's a hard issue, and we must be able to also dialogue and see how best these people involved can actually get to be helped. Very much important, because where proper dialogue is done, conviction also would actually get to take place. There's a place for the law. There's also a place where spiritual people can come in and partner in getting to deal with some of these things. I know these are angles that are not easily explored, yet that's where we'll be able to find the best of solutions. You can never leave out the church in the fight against corruption. Very important. On the other hand, those that are fighting the corruption, let's see, are we fighting this corruption with uncorrupt hearts? Are we our motives correct? Are they really after eradicating corruption?
A male adult of Lusaka's John Lane compound in Kanyama constituency has called on the Ministry of Community Development to audit all those on the social cash transfer program. Gabriel Inasho has told Camnet News in an interview that the CWAC officials in the area are in the tendency of including abled persons on the program, leaving out community members with real challenges. Meanwhile, a 59-year-old differently abled man says the social welfare officials in the area have paid a blind eye to helping his 22-year-old disabled son getting on the social cash transfer program as well as other programs. Details in this report.
He broke down in tears as he narrates the challenges that his 22-year-old son goes through every day just for him to find food so that they can have a meal. Thomas Chalwe, a 59-year-old disabled man, has narrated to Camnet News that he stays with his only son who suffers from cerebral palsy, a condition that has left him with no legs.
Number distance, sometimes angazibwera mpaka kuzamufipira mwemwe kwaila, especially ngati kulimanzi apita che mumanzi so chape akulaya pye anaisa ngonana cheso so sometimes mani baba mani but ndatasharesa nalishoko bati fintu fyonse niresa eupera nokumtasha kuretwa mutasha tete muchiteifuna.
Mr. Chalwe further says his son was once on a community-based intervention program for special children at Mambo School, but that he was later dropped without giving any explanation.
Then eventually, community-based intervention. So eventually, I give up. No human assistant. So
Mr. Chalwe also says he lost his wife and 2 other children in the same week in the year 2010 due to meningitis. He says 4 years after losing his wife and 2 children, he equally suffered from dry ganglion, a condition that led to the amputation of his leg and later loss of his job at Prisca Security Company, where he worked as a dog trainer. He has since called on well-wishers to help his son with a wheelchair and, if possible, a decent house, saying they are owing their landlord in excess of 4,000 kwacha rent. And Gabriel Inasho, a concerned citizen, has accused the CWAC officers under the Ministry of Community Development in John Lane compound of being biased when it comes to selecting beneficiaries of the social cash transfer program.
So therefore kuipushako bakatwebeko abo bene ama vulnerables obo balanda busheni fwe balanda nanguni bali aba ama landlord because abe ngobo tulesanga muno mukombo ne abale furation ndalama ma landlord nga chakutila tulebe pogufi bakese isabo bene ba social welfare na ifwe bene fwe ma beneficiaries bakatwebeko bati tusonteleni amayanda tulino kuba sonto ko bati aya mayanda ni ana olo basiwa kitsera chabo baya mukutola bali bene basiwa balafula but you as a beneficiary you cannot be as what as a sewer. In which way?
For Mr. Chalwe, his son has been denied an opportunity to be on the social cash transfer program on argument that two members of the same house cannot be on the program. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Plumbers Association of Zambia has called on the Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation to seriously consider regulating the plumbing sector. Association Project Coordinator Mutundu Malichi says if left unattended to may result in Zambia's failure to meeting the 2030 goals on good sanitation for all citizens. In an interview, Mr. Malichi notes that regulating the public sector will enhance efficiency for works being done. Details in this report.
Poor sanitation has remained a major problem in Zambia, as sewer spillages have become the norm in many communities, heightening the risk of waterborne diseases. According to the Plumbers Association of Zambia PAZ, this has mainly been caused by poor plumbing works, as this sector has not been regulated, meaning that anyone with some skill in the area can conduct plumbing works despite not being a qualified plumber. While looked at as a normal thing in Zambia, the association notes that this should be looked at as a serious problem, stating that this will hinder the country from attaining 2030 goals of good sanitation for all. The country has also continued to lose revenue due to water that is left unaccounted for, owing to water spillages. Association Project Coordinator Engineer Mutunda Malichi was speaking to Camnet News.
Plumbers, everybody who is going to practice plumbing must have the qualification from trade certificate up to diploma or even degree level. There are other countries that are offering degree level in terms of plumbing. So in trying to support this vision, in trying to support government, I think that we need to work together with water utility companies, because these water networks are actually installed by water utility companies. So water utility companies are the major stakeholder in terms of employment of plumbers. So we are saying let's work together and ensure that we provide a quality service that will result in reducing waterborne diseases and other diseases in the country.
Meanwhile, past Secretary General Mr. Joseph Banda has expressed concern at the high risk of sewer and tap water mixing due to poor plumbing works as witnessed in some communities.
And then the other program that will help us to ensure that as Plumbers Association of Zambia, we help in mitigating the water leakages so that we avoid waterborne diseases, is ensuring that we carry out awareness, community awareness program or community outreach programs where we sensitize the members of the community at large the importance, the benefits of plumbing works, so that together we can move together, work together, and by so doing, I think we'll reduce the issues of waterborne diseases that are actually all over there now.
Stakeholders in the water and sanitation sector have been calling for an audit of the water and sanitation situation in communities around the country. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
And finally, in the news, the Cybersecurity Initiative Foundation has charged that Zambia's online space is still a threat to children because anyone can access all types of content online. In an interview, Foundation President Mr. John Tisekensi notes that the cyberspace, if not well used, has the potential to expose children to dangers such as human trafficking. According to statistics from the Childline Zambia, the country has been recording an all-time high number of calls from children during the coronavirus pandemic, which has brought many changes, including high exposure to online space for children.
The internet has become a major part of today's society, as most activities, including education and business, are finding their space on online platforms. While useful in increasing education exposure for children, the internet also poses many dangers. It is in this vein that other countries have come up with extra security measures like facial recognition to ensure that children do not access online platforms that could potentially put them in harm's way. Among the dangers that children encounter online is potential contact with human traffickers, among others. The Cybersecurity Initiative Foundation says Zambia should therefore domesticate international protocols aimed at safeguarding children by creating a safe online space. Data from non-governmental organizations like Childline Zambia indicate that the center was receiving an average of 700 calls per day at the height of the coronavirus pandemic. Foundation President Mr. John Tisenki was speaking to Camnet News.
In other countries, it's very serious. Kids are abducted each and every day, and these criminals demand for ransoms to be paid before they release the kids. And again, there's no guarantee that if you pay ransom, they still give you kid back. A number of kids have died, have been killed in the same vein because of being exposed to social media, which is very wrong. Even I think I've seen a number of our sisters on social media who post themselves with newly born babies, and they're like, I know the friends and the fun around being having a child is okay, but again, let's also be wary of the fact that social media is a dangerous space. It's a dangerous space. It's like a war zone for kids.
Mr. Tsenki notes that key to ensuring a safe online space is also incorporating online safety tips into the school curriculum.
It's very important to note that there's a Child Protection Online Child Protection Act, which is supposed to really be observed. So the world over, for monitors and advocates for online child protection, which is very important. Even here in Zambia, let us desist from abusing kids by getting their photos and posting on social media. It's very dangerous for them. You might not be affected today, but tomorrow it might pounce on you, and then you realize how important it is to take your kids off social media.
Zambia is signed up to the United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child, among other protocols. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
That's it we had for the media news. The headlines once again. Bishop Billy MFULA urges the church to offer counseling to those accused of corruption. The Operation Young Vote bemoans disrespecting the presidency by those charged with corruption. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon.